Welcome in Cool. So, a human being can survive the unimaginable sometimes, like 140 degrees Fahrenheit temperature for brief periods of time. And you'd be surprised, even falling into a volcano. Oops. Then you can ask, what the heck were they thinking? Not so much, apparently. Some years ago, there was an eruption of Hawaii's Kilauea. The volcano had been active for almost 35 years in a row, and this eruption could symbolize that the active days were finally over. However, it doesn't mean it's all clear and safe now. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The caldera, that B-shaped depression of the summit, is still unstable. After months of deflating as magma was pulled away to the volcano's sides, hanging around the rim isn't the best idea. But even a metal guardrail couldn't keep one overly curious visitor from taking a risky leap to look over the edge. Recently, a 32-year-old man was attempting to peer over the caldera when he lost his footing. He ended up falling about 70 feet into the pit and sustained serious injuries. Fortunately, he didn't land in any lava. The caldera has been devoid of it for some time now, as all the lava in the Halumu crater drained away months ago. This time it was just gravity and sharp rocks that caused the trouble. According to a statement from the Hawaii Volcano's National Park staff, it was a soldier who was on the island for a training exercise and is now recovering in the hospital. Rescuers had to rappel down into the caldera to bring him back up. But this isn't the first time someone has fallen into Nila's craters. In October 2017, a person passed away after tumbling into the pit, which was much shallower back then. Given that history, this other soldier was incredibly lucky to escape with his life. There's one more curious volcano, Odonio Lingai in Tanzania. It's located over the East African Rift, where the continent is slowly being pulled apart by a rising plume of superheated mantle material. Eventually, a new ocean will form there. But for now, unique geochemistry means some pretty odd volcanology, especially at Odonio Lingai. The lava here never exceeds 950 degrees Fahrenheit, which is significantly cooler than the stuff that usually erupts from Kilauea. This is due to the unusual chemistry of the rocks that create its magma, which is high in calcium and sodium. The sodium-rich mix makes this lava a nitrocarbonate, lacking the silicate chains that give regular magma its viscosity. This results in very cold and superfluid lava that erupts in a jet-black stream and weathers to a ghostly white. Well, that's fascinating on its own. I mention it because someone fell into this strange cold lava back in 2007, which might be an even scarier scenario than what just happened at Kilauea. Falling into lava is obviously a bad idea for many reasons, but this incident had an unexpected twist. The guy who fell there, a local Maasai porter, slipped into an active lava flow and got severely burned, but survived. Now, you may be thinking, maybe I shouldn't climb into a volcano for a better view. Well, most people who fall into active volcanoes, as you can imagine, don't come out unscathed if they make it out at all. When we think of volcanoes in general, I suspect that one of the first ones that pops into your noggin is Vesuvius. And I bet you won't be shocked when you learn that, yep, someone did fall there, too. A 23-year-old guy from Maryland had quite an adventure when he fell into the crater of Mount Vesuvius in Italy while snapping a selfie. The man, Philip Carroll, was exploring the iconic volcano famous for burying the Roman city of Pompeii under ash in 79 CE. He was there with 2 family members. Local authorities were confused about what had happened, but they later explained that the family had taken a restricted trail to reach the summit. They hiked up in the town of Odavano, but ended up on a path that was off limits of tourists, ignoring a small gate and clear no-access signs. First mistake. Once they reached the top of the volcano, which stands over 4,000 foot tall, Carroll decided to take a selfie. Big mistake. Oops. He dropped his phone into the crater. While trying to retrieve it, he fell and slid down a few meters into the crater. He managed to halt his fall, but he was stuck at that point. The situation could have been worse. Philip was incredibly lucky. If he had kept sliding, he would have dropped almost 1,000 feet into the crater, nearly took himself out of the gene pool over a selfie. Now, for some context, the Sububius's cone-shaped crater is about 1,000 feet deep and 1,500 feet wide. Philip ended up with some cuts and scrapes on his arms and back from the fall. Luckily, local guides spotted him with binoculars from the other side of the rim and rushed to his aid, using a long rope to pull him back to safety. A video posted on Instagram by Carol's brother shows a breathtaking view from the volcano's peak with someone in the background exclaiming, "Hey, we hiked to the top of a literal volcano." After the incident, Carol was taken into custody by the Carabinieri, one of the police divisions in Italy, and he had some time to consider his behavior. Now, Mount St. Palance is one of the most well-known volcanoes in the U.S., if not the entire globe, especially since its big eruption back in 1980. Fast forward to 2008. A 52-year-old guy from Oregon named John Slump decided to hit the snowy trails near the volcano with his son and a friend. They were enjoying some snowmobiling fun when they thought it would be a great idea to hike up to the crater rim. But what started as a fun day quickly turned into a real-life horror story. John, wait for it, fell into the volcano. Yep, he plunged about 1,500 feet, but surprisingly managed to survive. His fall was cushioned by a snow bank after about 150 feet, but that bank gave way. Then he slid the rest of the way down. Emergency services were called, and a helicopter team had to come to his rescue. Fortunately for him, medical technicians were on the scene within hours and were able to save Jay's life. Meanwhile, another tourist, this time from Ireland, had a lucky break after plummeting 650 foot down an Indonesian volcano, coming away with just a few minor scrapes. His name is Paul Farrell, and he was 31 when it happened. He was hiking solo on Mount Rinjani in West Nusa Tenggara when he lost his footing and tumbled down a steep trail, reportedly rolling off a cliff. Mount Rinjani, standing at 12,224 feet, is an active volcano on Lombok Island and draws hikers eager to see its breathtaking crater Lake Segura Anak. Amazingly, Paul only ended up with some cuts on his face, arm, and legs. According to local news sources, he even managed to reach out to a local resort for help, which alerted police early that morning. Ironically, a rescue team was already on the scene tending to the body of another hiker who had fallen into a nearby ravine. Despite some communication challenges due to poor reception in the remote area, the team managed to find Paul relatively quickly given the circumstances. Locals explained that Paul had slipped because the ground was sandy. Yes, blame it on the sand. Now, you probably noticed that cases of falling down a volcano aren't that rare. Huh? Not everyone survived such falls. Most hikers, well, pass away. Back in March 2010, a Swedish tourist had a wild and unfortunate mishap at Mount Ver in Bali, Indonesia. He was hiking up to the rim of the active volcano just before sunrise, hoping to soak in the breathtaking view, when out of nowhere, he accidentally slipped and fell in. Whoopses. Instead of enjoying a stunning sunrise, this unfortunate backpacker found himself plummeting about 500 feet to his last destination. He wasn't alone. He had 3 friends with him. A serene early morning trek that took a tragic twist. Interestingly, the authorities actually considered the trail he was on to be quite safe, making this incident all the more heartbreaking and unexpected. Well, you be the judge. That's it for today. So, hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the Dark Core. Thanks for watching Dark Core.